Virtual prospect meetings became mainstream years ago because we didn't have a choice. And there was a magic to it because we didn't have to travel and we only had to worry about what we were wearing from the waist up. And we could save so much time. I mean, the efficiencies that we got from these virtual prospect meetings. Now, here we are years later, and virtual meetings aren't always a necessity. They're still very much mainstream. And there's something that I've noticed for those of you who work with couples, whether they're married, whether they're partners, whether maybe it's even two people on a team together that have to make a decision. There's an inefficiency. The sales process itself sometimes is drawn out because only one person is involved from the beginning. And I've noticed this situation. So let's say you're working with a couple potentially, and it's Bob and Joanne. And Joanne is the one that schedules the meeting, and you have this wonderful conversation where you learn about them, you explain your services, and Joanne says, gosh, you're exactly what we need to do. I can't wait to get started. And then she remembers, oh my goodness, we need to get Bob on board, and tells you, don't worry, I'll just talk to Bob and I'm sure he'll agree with this. Or, well, I'll get Bob to come in on the next conversation with us. And you end the meeting with that being her responsibility. And then you think, wow, that went so well. I think they're going to be new clients. It sounds like she's ready to go. Only to then get caught into continually following up with Joanne to find out, are you ready to schedule the meeting with Bob? Should I talk to Bob? Should we schedule the meeting with Bob? What do you need to get going so we can get the meeting with Bob? And the weeks and the months drag on. And what I noticed is because of the virtual aspect of it, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just going to be easier. They think it's easier for us to just get ready for that meeting. But what happens then is that Joanne became your salesperson, whether you knew it or not. Joanne now had the responsibility to decipher everything you've talked about and be able to relay it to Bob in a way that he could understand it so that he would make that next commitment, which was to talk with you. And she wasn't equipped to do that. Hard enough to sell services when we're doing it ourselves. There's two things that I suggest that you do so that you don't elongate that sales process. The first one is to not have a meeting with one person if there's a two-party situation. Some advisors and professionals require both parties to be in from the beginning. Others strongly suggest it with wording like this. Because finances are a family affair, we know that it's going to be more beneficial to you for both of you to start the conversation with us. And let's get it scheduled. And then if they're not willing to, so you can make it a requirement or you can make it a strong suggestion, but don't lose track of, oh my gosh, I have this opportunity. I want to grab them when they can, because that's what's going to get in the stall. The second thing is, if it has to happen, if you do get in a conversation with somebody and they're like, well, I'm the one that's doing the research and then I'm going to bring in my spouse afterward, then we need to say to them, what is it that you need to support that conversation with your partner? What is it that they are going to need to see or to hear so that they're as excited as you are and we can get that next meeting scheduled? How can I support that? At least we're deputizing them and equipping them to have that conversation on the behalf of all of us, right? Because selling isn't just about us winning a client, it's about us helping people and them getting our help. So if you want to speed up your process, take a look at what you're doing early on to get the right parties in that conversation with you. That becomes efficient.